Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. This is the final edition of NoDQ Live on a Monday night until Survivor Series weekend. We have Survivor Series this Sunday. This show, for the most part, dragged in my opinion. However, there were a few highlights, which I will get to. First of all, I should note that this Raw was the first Raw without an overrun in over 20 years. The news did come out a few days ago that USA Network has decided to get rid of the Raw overruns. Even with the lack of that extra 10 minutes, I still felt that this show did drag at times. Before we start with the review, I would like to say something about Stan Lee, a all-time legend, I should say, and he was a great creative person, and there's really nothing else to say about the guy that hasn't already been said, other than he is one of the all-time greats as far as creative people goes. I mean, he's right up there with Walt Disney as one of the all-time greats in terms of just creating great content for people to be able to escape from real life and just be able to have something that they can look up to in terms of superheroes and all those different types of characters that he came up with. So, R.I.P. Stan Lee, and on that note, I will start the Raw review. We had the opening Veterans Day video package, which was very cool. I would like to give a shout out to my friend Josh and to everyone out there that has served. Thank you for your service. It is much appreciated. The show opened up with the Raw Tag Team Division Battle Royal, and this match was supposed to be about which team would captain the Raw side of the tag team traditional Survivor Series match this Sunday. The match barely began, and I was wondering, why is this match starting off Raw? Because we never get a match opening Raw. It feels like it's been forever. Maybe Greg, Cherry, or somebody out there would know the last time Raw actually started with a match. So I was wondering, this is odd. What's going on here? And sure enough, we had Braun Strowman's music hit literally about 30 seconds into the match. Strowman came out and he literally beat up the entire Raw Tag Team division. Why? Why was this necessary? WWE could have gotten the same point across that Strowman is a monster. He can destroy a lot of people. You could have just done a regular tag match with two of the lower tier teams. Like, you could have done it with the Ascension versus Heath Slater and Rhino. You could have just kicked off Raw with that match. Maybe you could even say the winning team gets a spot on the Raw team. Just throw out one of the two jobber tag teams and let Braun come out, destroy all four guys. Same thing accomplished. But here, you literally just sacrificed the entire division, I guess, to rebuild Braun Strowman. I thought that this was weak, totally unnecessary. Strowman got a chair into the ring and sat down and said that he wants Baron Corbin and he's not leaving, blah, blah, blah. Curtis Butler with a $2 super chat donation says, "What did I do to get put in timeout?" Big G's an idiot. That's all I have to say about that. Thank you, Curtis. We had Stephanie McMahon's music hit, which means Raw automatically gets a letter grade down because of Stephanie's music. I just cannot stand her music. It's right up there. Love you, Caitlyn, but it's right up there with Brie Mode as far as the worst theme song of all time goes. Now we had Stephanie come out, and Stephanie was asking Strowman, "Are you going to let Shane disrespect Raw?" And Strowman's like, "I don't give a damn about Shane." And he said that he wanted Brock Lesnar and the Universal title. Stephanie said That's fine. It's done. If you want that, you got it. You just have to go to Survivor Series and destroy SmackDown because it's all about brand supremacy, right? Jeremiah, you need better taste in music, my friend. Love you, man, but you need better taste in music. Corbin also said that he wants stipulations for the match. He wants Corbin to sign a waiver because what he's going to do to Corbin is going to be so bad that Corbin might want to try to sue him or something. And by signing a waiver, he would be responsible for whatever medical bills there are or something like that. And Stephanie, of course, agreed to that. And Stephanie just said as long as he's a team player, he'll get whatever he wants. And we had Ronda Rousey come out. Oh, by the way, Strowman said he actually threatened to come to WWE headquarters and destroy the building, some crap like that. We had Ronda Rousey come out. Stephanie was going to introduce her, and then Ronda just grabbed the mic from her. The crowd started chanting for Becky Lynch, and Ronda said, "Why wait? Let's get a little preview of what's going to happen to Becky." So she teased like she was going to do something to Stephanie. And then we had Baron Corbin out there, and Corbin was talking about how on Sunday it's a must-win situation for Raw. Must-win. I'd like to know how it's a must-win. So let me get this straight. We have the Mixed Match Challenge, which nobody cares about. And we have somebody writing in Arabic in the chat room. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it, but none of us can understand that, or very few of us at least. We have the Mixed Match Challenge, which is basically something that nobody's watching. I mean, yeah, you got like 50,000 people watching it on Facebook Watch. And what is Facebook Watch? It sounds like something you wear on your wrist. I don't get it. I don't like the name because you have Apple Watch and that's an actual watch. So why are you calling it Facebook Watch when there's already an Apple Watch, which is something totally different? I don't know. It just grinds my gears, and I think it's annoying. Facebook, they need to go back to the drawing board on that one. Zuckerberg, you done goofed, my friend. And he's not really my friend, although if it was MySpace, I guess he would by default be my friend. Now, we had this final segment where Strowman told Corbin that enjoy being Stephanie's lapdog. Basically, Stephanie said that Strowman could not touch Corbin until the Survivor Series pay-per-view was over. And Corbin said, enjoy being Stephanie's lapdog, which I could have sworn was a line in TNA about Rockstar Spud being Dixie's lapdog. So kind of funny to see WWE knocking something off of TNA. So there you go. From a period where nobody even cared about TNA also. And then Strowman said after Survivor Series, he is going to neuter poor Baron Corbin. What I wanted to say about Mixed Match Challenge was the winner of that, the male and female, are going to be the number 30 entrants in the respective Royal Rumble matches for the men and women. Why not just have the winning brand at Survivor Series get the number 30 spot? I mean, anything. Just do something. Put something on the line. This brand supremacy crap, I don't care. A week after Survivor Series, nobody's going to care about the results of the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view results will have no impact on storylines. You have to make people care. You have to give them something. Just give them a reason to care. You need to do more than brand supremacy. It's lazy. Oh, we're just doing the pay-per-view where it's Raw versus SmackDown. It's about bragging rights. It's boring. Have something on the line. A number 30 spot at the Rumble. Anything. Anything would be better than what they're doing. So that's my rant on that. I do think Survivor Series is going to be a really fun pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to it. It is this Sunday. And if you head over to NoDQ.com/LA, if you're going to Survivor Series or you live in the LA area or you'll be in the LA area this coming Sunday, we do have a 20-year anniversary meetup for NoDQ.com. So head over to NoDQ.com/LA and RSVP for it. I'll be there. Good old JM, Jeff Meacham, will be there. Cindy will be there, Interstate Kyle, maybe Stone Cold Grandpa, and a bunch of other cool people will be there too. So come meet up with us. Details over at nodq.com/LA. And we may even do like a review video with everybody, so stay tuned for that. So the first match of the evening was Tamina versus Ember Moon. Nia Jax was doing the distraction. And we had Ember Moon do a suicide dive to the outside on Nia to try and get back at her. But basically Nia no-sold it because she's the irresistible force. So let me get this straight. If Nia Jax is the irresistible force, does that make Tamina the immovable object? I guess that's her nickname now. I'm just going to call Tamina the immovable object from now on. Whatever. But anyways, Ember went for the Eclipse. Nia got on the apron, and that led to Tamina super kicking Ember, hitting a very bad-looking splash to pick up the victory, and that was that. I feel so bad for Ember Moon. WWE should have been grooming her for Ronda. Ember was one of the few people that had this big upside, just a great look to her, and a lot of potential to be a top star on the female roster, and they're just blowing it with her big time. So, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this. Next up, we had a recap video of AOP winning the tag team titles. And boy, what a great appearance by AOP tonight, the new tag team champions. They had a great moment tonight on Raw. Oh, wait, they were not on Raw. Unless I missed something. Maybe I blinked and missed something. I'm sure if I'm wrong about that, I will be corrected in the chat by a million people. But I'm pretty sure that I did not see the new tag team champions AOP on this show. 3-hour show. Yeah, they did cut out 10 minutes, but still. We had Seth Rollins come out. He plugged the Survivor Series match, but he didn't really care. So Rollins is so focused on Ambrose, he's like, yeah, I'm going to beat Nakamura, and I'm going to be focused on that. But he really did not care. Rollins said he doesn't care about the Nakamura match, basically. So if he doesn't care, why should I care? It's like the Nakamura thing is just an afterthought. And this should be a really big deal. I mean, I think 2 years ago, this would have been like one of the top dream matches in WWE. And now pretty much nobody cares. And they're just throwing this match out there. And Rollins doesn't even care about it. He's more focused on Ambrose, which, I mean, he should be. WWE shouldn't have even booked the match in the first place. I mean, that's the problem, the downside to doing this type of pay-per-view, because basically you're just watering down these potential dream matches because Rollins isn't even focused on Nakamura. He's just so obsessed with Ambrose. So we had Dean Ambrose, who appeared on the Titantron, or whatever they call it now. Maybe it's not the Titantron anymore. I remember the Titantron, you could actually watch it during matches, and now you cannot. Anyways, Ambrose was there, and he was sitting on a fancy red car, and they had a barrel there with the fire. So you kind of knew where this was going. Something was going into that fire, and as it turns out, it was the Shield vest. So Ambrose said that he doesn't owe anybody an explanation as to why he did what he did, but then added, well, this is the way I've always been, and I was just too selfish or self-centered, and he realized that the Shield made him weak. I mean, this was kind of lame. Why not just say, I don't forgive you for what you did, and I'm never going to forget it, and you're always a jerk to me. I mean, that would have been so simple and straightforward and sensible. Just saying that the Shield made him weak, I mean, I guess they could have played up on, yeah, the other guys had the titles and he didn't, but I don't know. I thought this could have been done better. And a lot of people noted that this was basically a knockoff of Goldust in 1998, where Goldust had his costume and, basically cut the same kind of promo, and that the whole Goldust character was making him weak and all that stuff. And then he ended up throwing the Goldust costume into the fire. The only difference is that segment had a fan that was yelling out homophobic slurs at poor Goldust. You can go watch it back. I don't know if they edited it off of the network or not, but I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. Goldust burns his outfit. Look for the segment. Anyways, let's move on here. We had the Kurt Angle Drew McIntyre recap. So yeah, that's all we need. More recaps, right? We had Kurt Angle's music hit, but then there was a swerve. We had the Dolph Ziggler record scratch, which is like the one time that the record scratch actually meant something for once. We had Drew McIntyre come out, and he talked about how he broke the Shield, how he broke Kurt Angle, blah, blah, blah. He says Raw belongs to him. He said there would be no more nostalgia acts, and then that was the cue for the Fonz to come out, the Fonz with his jacket, and he was upset. He said Drew went too far with what he did to poor little Kurt Angle, and Finn Balor, of course, said he wanted a match. And McIntyre said, sure, but to get the match, you have to go through Dolph Ziggler first. Noah Foster 210 with a $2 super chat donation says, should Kurt face Drew again? No. They already did the angle. What was accomplished, and there's no point. Should Kurt Angle wrestle again? Probably not. I mean, I think I've seen enough of Kurt Angle. I hate to say it, but the reality is, you know, he's a shell of his former self. He's not a spring chicken anymore. And, yeah, I don't know what else you can do with Kurt Angle at this point. Maybe one final WrestleMania match? Maybe. I don't know. So we had Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre. McIntyre tried to interfere, so, you know, same stuff as what Nia Jax was doing. Balor did his big dive to everybody. Balor was selling his knee, but still went for the coup de grace. He missed it, and Ziggler tried to get him in a pinfall. However, Balor reversed that into a pinfall of his own and picked up the win and quickly fled the scene before the big bad Drew McIntyre could do anything about it. Dylan Folk with a $2 super chat donation says, I'm cheap, happy early birthday, ya filthy animal. Well, thank you for that, Dylan, and I appreciate the Joe Pesci reference there. So we had Balor backstage with Stephanie. Stephanie was, I guess, impressed that he defeated Dolph Ziggler and decided to add Balor to the men's Survivor Series team. Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler were also added by Stephanie. And Stephanie said they all need to coexist and get along because it's all about the brand supremacy, damn it. Then we had the Riot Squad come out. Ruby still has her babyface music. The t-shirt offer still stands. However, it's got to be like a month of having new music before I actually go ahead and send out a shirt. I'm not getting fooled a second time by WWE. And Calvin, yeah, I would say Home Alone is probably my favorite Christmas movie. That and Christmas Vacation. So we had Ruby cut this promo, and she recapped what happened last week on Raw, where Jim Neidhart's sunglasses were broken by her, and Ruby was acting all sad, and you knew where this was going. You knew it. It was the same fake sorry promo that we saw Alexa Bliss do on numerous occasions, and then what Carmella did when she was the SmackDown Women's Champion. So, yeah, third person to do this in the span of the year. So, whatever. I thought this was pretty lame. Wasn't really a big fan of it. Sounds like a running theme with this review. She said she enjoyed every minute. And she said that Jim wore the glasses because he was ashamed of his daughter. Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Natalya attacked them from behind. And then Liv and Sarah Logan overwhelmed Natalya. And the three of them beat her up. And that was that. Power Packers 90 with a $5 super chat donation. He says, "Hey Aaron, do you think it was wrong that they did this angle where Owen died?" Yeah, Raw was in Kansas City tonight. I mean, it's not the same venue, and it's been so many years. I don't think anybody said, "Hey, you know what? Raw is in Kansas City. Let's do an angle making fun of Jim Neidhart or bringing up his death or trying to use that for heat." I don't think somebody consciously said, "Hey, let's just do that." It was probably just a coincidence. So I would not read much into that. But thank you, Power Packers, for the super chat donation. And even if the Kemper Arena was still around and they were still doing shows there, I still wouldn't see that as like, oh, they're doing this on purpose, you know, because it's where Owen died. I don't think so. So then we actually had the Tag Team Battle Royal. No reason to care about this whatsoever, considering the fact that all these guys got destroyed by Braun Strowman. I basically call them the catering club, because they're all the guys that are usually in catering, but they're getting this TV time for whatever reason, just so they can get TV time, basically. I mean, it's basically filler and just something so everybody can go out there and be on TV for 5 seconds. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable won, and the Revival were not even the last team to go against Roode and Gable. The Revival, they're basically just jobbers now. Really sucks, because those guys were getting rave reviews in NXT, and they did have some setbacks with the injuries, and I thought maybe they would get a chance, but they really haven't. I mean, they got like a 1-week push, I think, with Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns during that little storyline, but yeah, not a whole lot to say about this other than I don't care about the Raw Tag Team division. I have zero interest in seeing this segment. And I guess WWE feels the same way, that nobody cares about this because the Raw versus SmackDown tag team match is officially the kickoff. That is going to be the Survivor Series kickoff. So I guess we're going to have a little bit more time for the NoDQ meetup, although I will be there to watch that match. I will do my job, but I really don't want to. I will say I did like the little Bobby Roode doing the neck breaker and Chad Gable doing the moonsault at the same time. That was a cool spot. I do like it. So that was like the one highlight of this entire thing. Cindy, am I invited to your wedding, by the way? Just wondering. Moving on here, we had the Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman promo. Kind of boring in my opinion. Heyman is great, but it's the same material we've heard over and over again. There were AJ chants, and Heyman's like, you chant AJ because you believe he has a fighting chance due to how he did last year, but it's going to be the same result at Survivor Series. AJ's going to the Suplex City Hotel. He's going to take a beating. Heyman made... Actually, this was the one really funny part of this promo. Heyman made a Hotel California reference, and he said, "Google it, bitches." That was great. That was entertaining. Gilberto left a $2 super chat donation. He says, WWE sucks balls. He just paid the $2 for me to say that. So thank you for that, Gil. Hope to see you at the meetup, buddy. Heyman said that Lesnar wants to F5. Wow. Only took me about 20 minutes. Need a sip of water. All right. Think I'm good now. And watch, 5 seconds, I start coughing. Jinder Mahal came out. Jinder came out with the Singh brothers, and you knew where this was going. I mean, you knew Jinder was dying. You knew the Singh brothers were going to die here. And that's pretty much what happened. Mahal offered his services to Lesnar, and Brock actually talked on the mic for a little bit. So maybe he got, what, like $500,000 to say one sentence? He said, "Come on in." And then he said to Heyman, "You should really do this. You are Jewish." So there you go. That was an interesting line from Brock Lesnar. Heyman started to move aside, and Mahal got in the ring. They had their little shanty chant, but then Lesnar just got fed up and destroyed all three guys, like I said. Poor Singh brothers, they got suplexed like, damn, that was brutal. Those guys, they should be getting some of that money because those were some serious bumps that those guys were taking. Some scary shit, I have to say. I was seriously scared for those guys and their well-being. Those were some brutal suplexes. And then Jinder got the F5 to the floor. And yeah, that was pretty much the segment. I mean, it was entertaining. Seeing the Singh brothers get absolutely annihilated with the suplexes. I mean, that's always fun. So this was one of the better segments of the entire show, in my opinion. After that, we had a Bobby Lashley promo with Lio Rush. Same thing we've seen the last couple weeks. Only this time Lashley was wearing sunglasses. He did his poses. He showed his butt off to the audience. And then we had Elias come out. And like I said last week, I guess now that Elias is a babyface, the new gimmick is he's the one that interrupts promos instead of the other way around. Crowd was doing the Seven Nation Army, Oh, Walk with Elias. I'm not going to sing it. And then he got on his phone and he was pretending to call protective services. He said that Lashley had kidnapped this kid several months ago. And then Lashley responded by calling him a clown and then said to come into the ring and say it in his face. And then Elias said he was going to beat up Lashley and then shut up that toddler, Lio Rush. They had a match, basic stuff here. Lio was under the ring and he grabbed Elias's leg, which prevented Elias from getting back into the ring, and that led to Elias being counted out. Bobby Lashley is now officially the final member of Team Raw at the upcoming Survivor Series pay-per-view. Afterwards, Elias got some payback. He beat up Lio. He beat up Bobby Lashley. He tossed Lio like a lawn dart onto Bobby Lashley on the outside. And there you go. So Elias got some heat back, I guess, and Lashley's in the match, which I almost prefer. I mean, I love Elias, but I just want to see Lashley do his poses. I want to see that butt. I want to see Lashley's butt because, I mean, the man puts in the effort into the butt, and you got to admire that. So I got to get that picture. I got to get that picture to put up on NoDQ.com of Bobby Lashley's butt. And I'm going to send it right to Caitlin. All right, next up we had the Alexa Bliss main event segment. That's right. This was the beginning. Yes. Well, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm going to assume that, yes, Lashley's butt does smell like money. So, anyways, the main event segment, because Raw is no longer a 3-hour and 10-minute show, it's just a 3-hour show. Alexa Bliss came out with her entourage. She had Mickie James, Nia Jax, and Tamina, which is kind of funny because a few months ago, we just had Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax at odds, and now all of a sudden they're friends. So whatever. It is what it is, as I would like to say. Alexa announced the three of them for being part of her team, and then said Natalya was the fourth one, but was sent home because of what the Riot Squad did. And then we had Alexa announce that there would be a match to determine the fifth and final member of her team. Alexa, of course, not wrestling because she reportedly is dealing with various concussions. We had Bayley come out and then Sasha Banks. Actually, I think it was the other way around. But the two of them came out and this was the match that was made to determine the final fifth member. And as it turns out, didn't really even matter because in the end, we had Nia Jax and Tamina come in. And that that led to the whole match being thrown out. And then Alexa introduced Ruby Riot as her 5th member of the team. So I guess it's going to be an all-heel team plus Natalya at Survivor Series. Okay, whatever. Then we cut to a backstage area where we had Becky Lynch from SmackDown. She was there and she had to disarm her on Ronda Rousey, and Becky came out to the ring, and then this is when all hell broke loose. We had the SmackDown roster, I think everybody, not just the participants in the Survivor Series match, but pretty much the entire roster come out there and lay to waste the Raw superstars until Ronda Rousey came out with one arm and she started beating up the SmackDown stars. And then Becky came in and attacked Ronda with a steel chair. And I don't know what happened, but somewhere during this melee, Becky Lynch got busted open. I don't know if it was a broken nose. It probably was. But yeah, she was just bleeding all over the place. And wow, okay. Should I read this? I mean, Kayfabe Candy Ass says, bleeding Becky was hot AF. Jonathan says, are you attracted to Becky? In my opinion, she is the most attractive woman on the WWE roster right now. I will say that. But anyways, we had this huge brawl, and I thought it really added to the segment with Becky bleeding like that and just her face covered in blood. Gave it more of an authentic feel. Noah Foster with a $2 super chat donation. He says, shout out to Caleb. May he enjoy his birthday. Well, happy birthday to Caleb. Have a great one, my friend, or I hope you have had a great one. And I don't think this means the Attitude Era is coming back, although a lot of people are comparing Becky to Stone Cold Steve Austin. So you could say maybe in a way this is like a female Attitude Era if Becky's going to be this new breakout star of the company. Becky316 says, I just whipped your lass. Well, there you go. So that was SmackDown, or not SmackDown, I'm just thinking SmackDown because they were there. That was Raw, everybody. Besides the main event segment, this I thought was a pretty weak show overall. I did like Lesnar throwing the guys around, but man, I had a lot of issues with this show. Really, it was only that closing segment that I felt like really got me interested in Survivor Series. Everything else was pretty bad. I mean, I want to give the show like a D. However, I thought the main event segment was strong with Becky and the SmackDown women. And Lesnar throwing the guys around, that was pretty cool. Ambrose Rollins was okay. I'm going to give it, I think this was the same grade I gave it last week. You know what? I'll be generous this time. I think I gave it a C- last week. I'm going to give it a C this week. Average Raw. Few highlights, but a lot of not so good stuff. So yeah, I think it all averages out, and it's just a decent show. Decent go-home show, but could have been way better. Big G with a $2 super chat donation says, I apologize once again. That's right, Big G. Don't be messing with our man, Noah Foster. He's a good guy, and it's simple as that to use a line from him. So that's my Raw review, and that's all I got for tonight. Again, NoDQ.com/LA. Check it out. Check out my stream from this past Thursday where we celebrated 20 years of NoDQ.com. Check it out if you haven't already. Check out the NXT predictions, and of course, Survivor Series predictions coming up very soon. So subscribe to the channel, like this video, give it a thumbs up, tell your friends, tell your family, tell the mailman, tell your pastor, tell your accountant, tell your teachers, tell everybody to check out NoDQ.com. Even if they don't like wrestling, maybe this video will get them hooked. Maybe not, but you never know. Never say never, right? So that'll wrap it up. Thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow night for more.